Hello! So I have been vegan for quite some time now. I first went vegan when I moved out and was about to turn 18, and I finally had control over the food that I was eating and buying and cooking for myself, which was amazing. I started out really interested in the health benefits of going vegan, and I eventually got to the documentaries and the factual things, the effects of animal agriculture on the environment, and I watched one documentary. It was a really sad one called Earthlings. That one, I was just crying the whole time. It basically shows how animals are produced and turned into this packaged thing that we call meat, and it was just really heartbreaking to watch. And I did go vegan cold turkey. This was my second time going vegan because I originally tried it for a week or a few months when I was in high school, but I didn't do enough research and I felt like I didn't have enough information or planning at that time to actually go vegan and make myself good meals. I was like eating Oreos and random stuff like that. So I finally went vegan again, just cold turkey, no pun intended, and cut everything out. I remember one of the first meals that I ate was a huge tray of sweet potato curly fries and broccoli, and I dipped them in hummus, and it was so good. And there were so many vegan YouTubers making videos at this time, so I just started to learn a lot of really fun different meals that I could make. I basically went vegan for the ethical reasons, just because if I can't watch an animal being slaughtered like this, then I don't want to participate in that slaughtering. If I wouldn't be able to do it myself, then I just don't want to eat this product that has been packaged to me, this thing that was once living and feeling. Also, the effects of veganism on the environment and the health benefits. So pretty much all around, there was a lot of different reasons that I went vegan. And right off the bat, I noticed, before we get any further into the video, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. With so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives, Skillshare empowers real growth. They have so many different classes on video editing, on singing lessons, painting, on drawing, on photography, how to use different kinds of cameras and editing softwares, all of these things that you can actually integrate into your real life and help to improve your trade. They have sewing classes, which is something that I've been really interested in. My mom was a seamstress, but she never fully taught me, and I still really want to learn how to make my own clothes, so they have classes even on how to make your own pattern for a specific garment. And I just feel like these kind of classes are things that can really help to expand your brand, help you to elevate your craft, and maybe even have a side hustle, you know, a new stream of revenue just by teaching yourself online. You can take the classes at your own pace. Most of them are pretty short and can fit into a busy schedule, so I just really appreciate that. And it's really affordable as well, considering the value of what these classes can bring to you. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month, but Skillshare is hooking it up, so the first 500 people to click the link in my description box will get a 2-month premium free trial of Skillshare to explore their creativity. So if you're interested, please click the link down below. Anyways, let's get back to it. My skin cleared up so much. I did have acne every now and then, and it was mostly because of cheese. And cheese has casomorphines, which is addicting. It has this so that the calves keep drinking their mother's milk, but when humans eat it, they still get that addiction and want more and more. My skin just got so much more clear. It was wild, and I had more energy. I didn't feel heavy and lethargic all the time, which a lot of times after I ate before I went vegan, I would just want to take a nap, and that fully stopped happening. Most of my childhood, I ate a lot of frozen processed foods. I ate Tyson's chicken nuggets. I had pepperoni that was just microwaved and crispy. I had frozen pizza and any kind of frozen food from Costco, taquitos. I had that in my home because my parents were always working, and so we needed meals that we could cook for ourselves, aka microwave. I just never really grew up eating vegetables, and the idea of a salad just disgusted me. Just the idea of a bunch of leaves with like a gooey dressing on top. I just never have been a fan of salads. When I first went vegan, it was really exciting to experiment how to cook different vegetables, and I kind of opened up myself to this whole world of vegetables and fruits and different ways to prepare them, and it made me feel so abundant. I think a lot of people, when they think about veganism, they think of it as really restrictive, but when I first went vegan, I just felt like the possibilities were endless, and there was so much I was excited to explore and so many recipes I wanted to try, and it was just really fun. I just remember it being really, really fun. When I first went vegan, I was pretty much eating whatever I wanted as long as it was vegan. So I was trying different veggie burgers out and vegan pizzas, and I felt like I just had a really balanced diet. I did lose a good amount of weight just right off the bat just from going vegan, and I had a roommate at the time who was like, yeah, I really noticed that you lost weight, and I wasn't trying to, it just naturally happened. That was like one of the initial benefits, I guess. I personally don't weigh myself too frequently. I never cared too much about the number on the scale, but I like to feel like light in my body. No matter what weight I am on the scale, I like to feel like light, you know, and not heavy after eating. A few months later, I did move to New York, and I was very, very broke at this time, and I sometimes only had like $5 a week to spend on groceries, and still veganism came in clutch because it was really reasonable in my neighborhood. I was living in Queens. There were bodegas and grocery stores on every single block. A bodega is basically a mix between a deli and a grocery store, and luckily in New York a lot of them have really like healthy, health conscious things in them. So there was a bodega on every single block, which made the produce so much cheaper, I feel like, because they're all kind of competing with each other for a decent price. So I was doing a high carb, low fat vegan diet at this time, and that I moved to New York, and I just remember getting tons of dates and chickpeas and brown rice and very simple ingredients, broccoli and red pepper, that I could eat throughout the week. And I would always have rice pre-made in my fridge. I had a lot of noodles. I would even eat those noodle packets, like ramen noodles, but without the flavoring, and just add soy sauce and curry powder and kind of make my own with those noodles, which are very processed, but at the time it really worked for me and worked for my budget. And still to this day, I just feel like veganism is really affordable. You don't have to get too fancy with it. And in fact, the more that I eat those processed, fancier vegan things at restaurants or even from the grocery store, I realize that my body doesn't feel so good eating them, and that I'd rather just return to the basics and eat as simple and like whole foods, plant-based as possible. And my grocery list is always very simple, and I always have these staple basics in my fridge. I feel like I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat too much. Those were definitely some of the initial benefits of going vegan that I still feel today, but when you first go vegan, they're just like very strong, like just very big shifts that you'll notice. Also, I should mention, pooping is really fun. Okay, not fun. Maybe it is fun. It's nice when you're vegan because you're generally eating a lot of fiber and everything just comes out pretty easily, and I've just had good experiences in the bathroom since going vegan. Although I will be honest, sometimes us vegans have to eat a lot of beans as a source of protein. That can disrupt things a little bit at times. But there are so many different kinds of protein that I enjoy as a vegan now that it's not too much of an issue. Just something that, you know, sometimes beans just make you gassy, and it just happens. I also would like to state that going on a high carb, low fat diet I think is okay to do short term if you are trying to lose weight, but I did it for over a year, and it did get to the point where I started to feel dizzy, where I weighed under 100 pounds, which just wasn't healthy for me and is not healthy for my height. I'm pretty sure it's underweight. And you need fat, your brain needs fat, and I was eating very little fat. Doing any kind of restrictive diet for a long period of time is not sustainable, and I think a lot of people who go vegan and try to do it just for weight loss can find some trouble. And like I said, it's just not as sustainable to do it for those reasons, because eventually you're gonna feel malnourished or like you need more, and you might just blame it on veganism as a whole. You're vegan and you're not getting everything that you need, when in reality you can be vegan and just have a balanced diet, eat fats, eat carbs, you know, eat protein, get all your greens in, and feel at a really good equanimous state. That's something that I really had to learn throughout my vegan diet. Yeah, I think that those kind of fad diets are okay to try short term, but just be aware if your body is really telling you that it needs more, and honor that, because in the long run, what's more important than being skinny or having a snatched waist is just being healthy and being able to live your life and enjoy it and thrive in this existence. So just make sure to prioritize that over everything. Allowing yourself to feel as nourished as you need to be on a plant-based diet will make it more sustainable. So those are kind of the initial benefits that you might feel when you go vegan. But being vegan for so long, I have some other things I would like to share that I am so grateful to have learned, and a lot of them are internal, as a lot of things on my channel are. It's like about this inner experience that I'm having, and my compassion has extended to so many different parts of my reality thanks to veganism. And initially the question is like, what is the impact of my actions on the planet? That's what I asked myself when I first went vegan and learned about the animal agriculture industry. And then that same line of thinking started to happen with other parts of my consumption, including garments. I really learned so much about fast fashion and the effects of that on the planet and on the rights of humans, mostly women and children. And I really stopped purchasing things from most of the stores, if not all of the stores that I grew up shopping in. I really love sharing the message of slow fashion, of re-wearing clothes, of buying garments that will last, using clothing as another opportunity to be kinder to the planet and to recycle. And I'm really, really grateful for that. Just more conscious consumption overall. There are just a lot of things involved in producing a product that you are consuming, and it feels really good to just have some questions every now and then. And as much compassion as I have for all the animals, that compassion extended to all human beings everywhere. If it wasn't already present, I actually learned to have compassion for people who also aren't vegan, and I kind of learned that veganism can be a privilege. Not everyone has the income, although I have found veganism to be very affordable. Some people don't have the income or time to be vegan, especially if they have a family and they're working all day and they need to feed their kids. It's like maybe they only have time to go to McDonald's, and it takes too much time, too much planning, too much effort to cook a vegan meal for a whole family when you are in a low-income household. Some people live in food deserts, and vegetables that are imported can be very, very expensive. Some people have eating disorders, and going vegan would just be way too restrictive for them. There are so many different reasons why it wouldn't be sustainable, at least long term, for someone to fully go vegan, and I don't judge that. I have compassion for that. I definitely started to fall into that militant vegan energy when I first went vegan, simply because of the vegan people in the community at the time that I was watching. They were very just adamant and strong in their beliefs and very like shaming other people for not being vegan. And I used to say, like, you can't call yourself woke if you're not vegan because you're causing suffering to living creatures. I was just very almost preachy about it, and I'm really glad that I've softened that, and I would much rather lead by example and through compassion rather than shaming and guilting other people. I always try to educate people when they ask me questions about it, about my diet, and it's not something that I attach to my identity, like I'm a vegan girl, but it's just part of my life. I think that we should all just listen to each other and try to understand the other person's perspective and take whatever resonates and just be kind. I'm really grateful that veganism has allowed me to soften that compassion toward myself and towards other humans, because we all deserve love, humans and animals, even though we're technically animals as well. Veganism has really, really helped me find more awareness of my own digestion. I don't know if it's because I was young and I just wasn't really paying attention to how foods made me feel, but ever since I went vegan, I've been so much more mindful when I'm eating and kind of eating consciously. Every time before I eat, I try to take some deep belly breaths. I check in with my mental state before I'm eating. If I'm anxious, if I'm already bloated, if I'm sad, if I'm eating out of avoidance, you know, I just check in with myself and try to make food a meditation. And I only started doing that when I went vegan because I was testing out different kinds of foods. I have learned that our bodies are always changing, just like everything in this experience. Change is the only constant, and at a certain point when I went vegan, I could easily eat a lot of those processed vegan meats and feel really good. Now when I eat them, there's a very big chance that I will just want to sleep after eating like a dense soy product, so I try to avoid those. When I first went vegan, I was eating so many chickpeas and I felt great. Then a few years later, I started to feel really bloated and anxious when I ate a lot of chickpeas, and so I've lowered my chickpea intake even though I still love them. But yeah, my body and what it needed to feel at its optimal state changed throughout time and will continue to change. It just helped me form better awareness on what my body needs to feel like it's thriving, and I'm so grateful for that, because once again, that checking in with myself after consuming some kind of nourishment helped me to do that with other parts of my life, like social media. How do I feel after scrolling through Instagram for 10 minutes? Like, how frequently do I need to be doing this? Or friends in my life, like, how do I feel after hanging out with this new acquaintance? Like, do I feel drained? Do I feel good? Do I feel like equanimous in my being? And it just really helped me to continue making choices that are going to keep me in alignment. It's really, really cool. It's just cool how everything is so intricately interconnected and all of it has an effect on our body, on our spirit. It's wild and it's beautiful, and it's all just this like network of energy exchanges, I guess, and it's really good to be aware of that. You may already do this in your life, you may already practice all of these things and not be vegan, but veganism is kind of what led me here. And lastly, another benefit of being vegan is that I have been learning so much more about plants, the nutritional value of different kinds of vegetables and fruits. I can look at a plethora of fruits and veggies and know the nutrients in every single one of them and know the benefits and know how to boost my immunity or to help clear my skin a little bit more by eating a variety of leafy greens. I've recently started learning about mushrooms and their medicinal benefits because there's so many, and just really seeing food as medicine, which is such a good feeling. And there's that one really corny quote that goes, "Eat food as your medicine or you will eat medicine as your food." I also feel more connected to the earth in general through my knowledge of plants, like walking outside. I live in New York City, but when I walk through little parks or see little gardens, being able to identify different herbs and plants and know the healing benefits of them feels really good, and it makes me feel like the plants are my friends. I'm just like, oh hey St. John's wort, hey echinacea, hey nettle. Knowing and identifying all these plants, it just makes me feel like I have homies all over the earth with me. It's so corny. But seriously, it's like I would walk past these plants in these gardens every single day and just think that those were all weeds or they're random. But now I can walk past them and know that there's medicine in these different plots of land, and that's incredible. And I can like harvest them and brew myself a little tea that's gonna make me feel better. It just makes me feel like I can still feel connected to this earth no matter where I am. Yeah, those are some of the benefits of going vegan, some of the initial benefits and some of the longer term benefits that you may feel, or at least I have felt. If you've been vegan for a while, I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of the positive impacts of being vegan long term. I'm just curious, and I just plan on continuing to nourish myself in this way. So yeah, thank you guys for being curious, and don't forget to check out Skillshare if you're interested in expanding your craft or exploring your creativity. The first 500 people to click the link in my bio will get a 2-month free premium membership of Skillshare. Definitely check it out. And that is all for now. Thank you guys so much. I cherish you, and I'll see you in a video soon. Bye!